Hey everyone, how's it going? It is Ross, and I am bringing you all a video about Spider-Man accessibility features that have just been announced. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am a completely blind gamer and accessibility consultant, and everything that comes with that. Before we begin, a few things. First, I'm going to make sure I'm lined up with the camera, and this is just kind of a talk video. Very impromptu, all that jazz. No edits or anything like that. And that's partly because I've been very busy lately, way more than I'm used to. I have been in this gaming program offered by the International Game Developers Association Foundation. But yeah, so I've been really busy, and so where was I even going with this? Oh, yeah. I'm basically making this video because I need to ask you guys a question. I want your opinions on it. Because the accessibility list for Spider-Man is huge. In fact, I think I have it up right now. I'm just gonna scroll to the top, but basically, or let me make sure my scenes are good. Yeah. Basically, there are some accessibility features that are going to be delayed, and I will get to that when I get to that. Not trying to clickbait, but that's just where they are in the list at the very end. But so I want your guys' opinions on that. But then, yeah, going back to me being busy, I am actually going to be speaking and attending the Game Accessibility Conference up in Washington in a couple weeks, essentially, like a week and a half or so. So I figured I would just post this because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do a review, or even if I'm going to do a review. And again, you may be like, why aren't you going to do a review? Well, you'll figure that out when we get near the end. Let's see, anything else I wanted to say? Nope, not really, other than this is going to be very casual, just going to be giving my thoughts. I'm not an expert on Spider-Man accessibility. I've played I've played and beaten the past two games, but how do I describe it? It was a long time ago, first off, and then yeah, like the game's never had a screen reader, and so I just wasn't the most familiar. I didn't dive into the options menus and stuff like that and test things out. So yeah, without further ado, let's go through and check out what we got. Also, I don't know if this was English bad. Basically, sometimes with screen readers and web pages, like when I scroll, what I see is different to what you guys see. So what I'm talking about may take a little bit to show up on the screen, but like I just kind of wanted to get this video out, and so yeah, just deal. No. But hopefully it's not too annoying. But anyway, starting with gameplay, challenge level modifiers. You can adjust the enemy health, enemy damage, stealth awareness, all very nice. You can alter the game speed between 30, 50, and 70%. This is going to be useful for a lot of people, no matter what disability you do or don't have. And actually, on a different page, Insomniac Games, the the studio who makes Spider-Man, actually said that it was a great way to get like screenshots or footage of like a cool scene. And I was like, huh, that's just another great feature about accessibility features, for lack of a better term, is that, they can be used for other purposes as well. There is chase assist, and then it automatically attaches to the chase target within range or when in range, and then you could press R3 to automatically turn the camera towards the chase target. So kind of going back to what I was saying about being familiar with Spider-Man mechanics, I know something like this was in Miles Morales. And that's the thing with these features, is that I think a lot of them like may be named the same, but it's hard to say if they will mechanically be the same. So in this example, I had trouble in the past chasing down cars and things like that, and so now I'm curious if I was just using it wrong or if this is a new feature. I also forget if I said or not. I don't think I did, but I got a review code of the game, but I haven't even installed it yet. So these are still just my thoughts, nothing more. Simplified puzzles, self-explanatory. This is going to be amazing for blind gamers because just it was a huge pain point in past games. Hopefully, simplified is very subjective, so we will see how simplified they are. But yeah, dodge and parry timing increases the window essentially to dodge or parry. I think that's amazing. That will help me out a lot, I think. Enhanced auto aim, I feel like self-explanatory, has already been in the game. QTE autocomplete, already been in the game, self-explanatory. Auto heal, this one is cool. Basically, if a full focus bar is available, you can set a point at which it will use it. It will use itself when you reach a certain amount of health. I'm curious if you can change the threshold, but still very interesting. Swing assist. Steering assist. Yeah, steering assistance, I mean. Higher values allow for easier web swinging, while lower values reduce, basically increase the physics. This is going to be huge for me, I think. Yeah, I'm very curious, like how it works exactly. Like, how does it? I guess it just tones down the physics. It doesn't really like try to guide you necessarily. It kind of just lowers the physics, and with that reduction, by reducing that, it will make it a lot easier to navigate. So that's interesting. Oh, speaking of navigation, there have been I've seen some misconceptions on social media saying that there is no navigation assistance in the game, but that's not true, and I will get to that. But just know that there is nav assist in the game. Slow corner timescale, it will basically reduce like motion blur when you whip around a corner at high speeds, which doesn't impact me, but I could definitely see how that is going to be very useful for a lot of people. Web line bending, you could basically turn on or off the option for web lines to bend. I'm not sure how this impacts things. Like if it's bendy, you have the chance to fall off. I feel like that's the case, but who knows? All right, controls. And that was another thing I'm not sure if I said about this page, but it's actually really well designed, semantically, accessibly. Just headings in the right place, lists, and even alt text. So that's really cool. You can invert the controls. You can invert the web wings control, which I think is a new like power mechanic in the game or something, which is cool. So flying Spider-Man. Vibration settings. This one is cool. You can switch between experiential, functional, or none. Experiential gives you all the vibrations, just everything, all the vibrations that have been programmed into the game. You'll get all of them. And upon first glance, you may think, oh, well, that's what a blind player needs. Well, functional, it reads, vibrations that provide useful cues for gameplay and accessibility are enabled. So I think realistically, this may be what I use. I think that'll just make things a lot easier, but I'm also gonna bring my mic closer. And then you can turn vibrations off. And then repeated button presses can be set to hold. Continuous dodge. This one's cool. You could basically hold down dodge and just keep dodging from enemies. And I think this is amazing for people who want to take a break, like a breather in the middle of a fight. Even me, sometimes I'll be in a fight and things will just get kind of overwhelming and you kind of just start button mashing. I'm not sure if anyone else does that, but that's what I do. And so, hiccup. It'll be nice to kind of get a breather, reorient. Voice crack, hiccups and voice cracks. It'll be nice to be able to reorient and figure out, just like what's going on around you, and things like that. I think it'll be a really easy way to get a breather in the middle of a fight. I'm gonna drink some water so my voice stops cracking. This is actually my second take of this video because I didn't like what I was doing in the first one. Long story. But toggles, aim mode, swing mode. These are all kind of self-explanatory, so I won't dive into them. They're toggles. Air trick mode. You can toggle all these. Web wing mode, melee mode, and this one is as self-explanatory, but web shooter burst. Essentially, instead of having to repeatedly press the web shooter button, you could press it once and have it fire up to 3 webs, and basically web up enemies or immobilize enemies in one button press, which I think is very, very cool. And vibration heading, you can adjust the intensity. Very cool. Was there, I think, oh no, never mind. Okay. So here we are coming up on the nav assist. So under camera and camera sensitivity, there's look sensitivity, aim sensitivity, and then there's camera shake, swing camera motion, adjust the amount of roll, pitch, and field of view while swinging. That's cool. All right, so here we go. Camera follow, automatically rotate the camera behind Spider-Man while swinging or running. I think this could possibly help blind players. We'll have to experiment with that because part of the challenge in the last games was just like, you just kind of like, just orientation changed so much, which is why like relying on nav assist was so important for that game, and then it didn't work the best. And so, yeah, not that it was horrible. I don't want to give that impression, but let's see. Combat camera automatically rotates the camera towards, or basically to assist with keeping enemies in view. So, I mean, I would call that a form of nav assist. However, here's the actual nav assist. Look at waypoint. Automatically turn the camera towards the objective waypoint. That is the nav assist. Whether I would want them to call it nav assist or not, I think that's, I don't know. What do you guys think? I kind of think that you're getting down to semantics, because it's about what the feature actually provides. At most, you know, it'd be nice if there's like a separate category, but like still, I think blind players have a tendency to kind of skip over maybe the camera stuff, and that is entirely an assumption on mine. But that's the only reason I can think of as to why people think there's no nav assist. Because like if you read through the notes, like you'll see right there that it will nav assist in some capacity. It remains to be seen whether or not it is better than previous games. Hopefully it is. But yeah, so okay, moving on to audio. Volume. You have all these sliders: global volume, music volume, speech volume, UI, and sound effects. Very nice. Then you can also adjust the volume of the controller speaker, and you can have different modes. So again, experiential, functional, and none. However, for functional, this time it only says critical gameplay sounds. It doesn't mention anything about accessibility, but I still think there'll be some of that, right? Some accessibility potential with that. I'm going to touch my camera again because I'm paranoid. Okay, I'm looking. Narrated ASL. Enable narration of subtitled American Sign Language lines. So I think I don't actually know what this means, because at first I thought it meant like kind of like what Microsoft did in Forza 5 or Horizon 5, where they had ASL and BSL in the game, like a person signing. This says enable narration of a subtitled American language lines. So I'm wondering is it narration like TTS? So blind people, maybe that's what it is. Huh. Yeah, I'm definitely, again, it remains to be seen when I'm going to do this accessibility review. The game comes out on the 20th, so we've got a while. But yeah, so like a lot of these features I'm going to be messing with. So that one, definitely interesting because I know there's a deaf character in the game, and so that could be why it's used. But yeah, voice boost. When enabled, dialogue in the game can be turned up to basically hear characters more. I love this. Just like so many movies and TV shows, not so much in video games actually, but movies and TV shows specifically, like it's just it can be difficult to hear voices sometimes. However, while characters are speaking, it adjusts other sounds. And so I think this is the difference between just going into the volume sliders and turning down vocals or speech, because this will dynamically adjust things. So that's really cool. Frequency controls. This is really cool. So basically you can cut off frequencies high and low, but then you can also enable a notch frequency filter where you can specify a frequency range that you don't want to hear. That's really cool. Won't even impact me, but you know, that's not what it's about. It's just really cool to see that feature. So I'm curious what, you know, the deaf and hard of hearing community thinks of that. Subtitles. There will be subtitles for spoken dialogue, and then you can customize them. The size, the color, the speaker color, background color, and the opacity. Amazing. You love to see all of that. Visual. You could turn off full screen effects, intense flashing effects. Yeah, and just effects that impact the entire screen. That's nice that you can turn that off. Center dot, enable a persistent dot in the center to maintain focal point. Also hidden during cinematics. Very cool. Okay, screen effects, motion blur, film grain. I don't know what a lot of these mean. Adjust the intensity of the film grain visual effect. The 0 setting is the lowest, is the 10 setting is the highest. Okay. Film grain. I don't know. Like when I think of grain, I think of like grainy footage. I don't know. Chromatic aberration. I've never heard that in my life. Provides a filmic effect where colors appear slightly shifted and out of focus at the image corners. I would love to know about this feature. If anyone uses this, let me know. So I just think it's really, really, really cool. Depth of field. So basically, the further away you get, the objects will be like less detailed, less in focus. Okay, high contrast options. Basically, long story short, you can literally apply a shader to almost anything in the game. So I'll just go through hero shader, ally, NPC, enemy. And then specific types of enemies, like all the different types. So basic, ranged, advanced, menace, boss. You can even apply a shader for like critical like critical interaction points in the story for visibility. Shaders for combat, shaders for collectibles. Just really cool. I think that will help out a lot of people, even me. Like, I'm not going to use it, but I could turn those on when I stream, and you know, it could probably help me out if I need it. But high contrast background, very cool. High contrast spider sense. This is cool. In a lot of games, I've only seen like just high contrast on or off, but in this, you can adjust what you want high contrast specifically for. So high contrast background, spider sense, perfect dodge, UI. There are UI hints in the HUD, which is very cool. Explicit puzzle hints. This one is interesting because it makes me wonder if the puzzle hints are going to how do I describe it? Like on PlayStation, you know how they'll give you hints like in the cards or whatever. I'm wondering if like it's taking it a step past that and they're more detailed. Like they will give you hints based on the specific puzzle you're in. That will be really cool to test out. Lock minimap north. Basically, the minimap doesn't rotate. It just maintains its northern direction. I think that's interesting. Very cool. UI parallaxing when turned off. Basically, heads up display, menu elements will stay on place on screen. That's cool. Ooh. Mission waypoint display. Toggle to always show or on scan only. Huh. That's really cool. Oh, huh. You can even change the emphasis text color. I love these small details. Like, it's so cool. Icon and prompt size for in the world and for prompts and things like that. Shortcuts. Ooh, these are awesome. And I don't know if this has ever been done in the game, but basically you can assign a shortcut to the left or right D-pad. And yeah, but basically, I believe you can assign them for, you know, specific things in the game, or you can assign them for an accessibility feature. Let's see. Open map, launch photo mode, toggle contrast. Yeah. Game speed, combat traversal ability. Yeah, like being able to toggle all these on or off, like, this is so nice. Like, I could think of so many applications where people are going to use this. Like, this is one of those features that I would love to get some stats on, because I could imagine, and I'm not even like, this is maybe conservative of me, 80% of people keeping this on or using it. Like, if 100% of people were aware of this option, I feel like 80% or something would use it. Because, like, yeah, I'm wondering if you're able to like add other things to it. Because, like, yeah, right here it says ability, so you can literally add abilities. Like, you don't even need to have accessibility features there. So I can see so many people using this. Non-menu. Oh, this one is massive. Puzzle skips. Puzzles will have the option to be skipped via the pause menu. This was a huge barrier in previous Spider-Man games. Obviously, it'd be ideal if puzzles would, you know, like there's some sort of puzzle assistance, but they kind of already have that. You know, they have puzzle hints. What were they? Extended puzzle hints. Specific puzzle hints. I forget exactly what the word was. But then they even have like simplified puzzles. So I think you can really tell that they were aware of the barriers that puzzles introduced. And I think these three options will be enough, at least for blind gamers. Okay, so we've made it to the controversial part. Yeah, but accessibility options planned for December 2023. For audio, there will be a screen reader. The screen reader reads aloud text on the screen and provides spoken guidance for navigating the menus. So the wording they use is very interesting. They mention menus, but they mention more than menus. A lot of the times when developers mention menus only, the screen reader works only in menus. But it says reads aloud text on the screen. So I don't know, it says on the screen, and maybe it's just like to explain to people what screen readers are, but I'm hoping that that it means like it'll read stuff like in the overworld and stuff like that. You know, like things you can interact with, you know, not like every text everywhere, but just things you can interact with. So the settings for the screen reader: enable, on or off, screen reader volume, repeat delay time. So this is interesting. Select the amount of, I'm gonna have to read this one. Set the amount of time in seconds before the current set of entries will be repeated on idle. Dude, you guys, everyone, this is huge in such a funny way, because for anyone who's watched my videos or streams, basically a lot of the times when you're like on a main menu or you're at a pause menu, the screen reader, you know, will read like continue because you're automatically on the continue button, and then it'll be like continue, B for back, up and down for to navigate, and it'll just keep telling you all these hints and prompts as you pause for a reason. So like a lot of times I'll pause to say something, and then I'll just have the screen reader keep talking over me, and I have no way to shut it up. Well, this allows you to double it up to a max of 60 seconds. I would have a lot preferred there's an option to turn it off, or at least increase it like all the way to like 30 minutes or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? But still, that's really nice. So at least you can just you don't have to just hear the screen reader repeating things over and over again. It's very distracting. I'm so glad they added something like this in. Again, Insomniac just really coming in clutch with all these great accessibility features. Shortcuts. You can assign a button to screen reader status. I don't understand what this means. Like, do you press it and it just tells you if you have a screen reader on or off? I don't know. Maybe it toggles it on or off. That could be a lot more useful, but yeah. And then here's the big one, audio descriptions. There will be audio descriptions for in-game cinematics. So you can turn them on. You can change the volume of audio descriptions, which that has not been done in the game yet, I do not believe. It may have been in Last of Us Part 1. I take that back. Don't fact check me on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was in Last of Us 1. And then for subtitles, they are adding captions. For people who don't know what the difference between subtitles and captions, subtitles are just like the text, the words that people are saying. Closed captions include, I believe, like directionality as well as just audio. So like if there's a bang behind you, it would say like bang and like point in the direction of where it came from. So that's really cool. And you can change the size, color, background color, opacity. Great, you can change all of that. Audio output, mono audio, interesting. That one's interesting. Or I'll get to that in a second. Visual. Aim arc color. Oh, that's cool. Some more color options. Target color indicator. Oh, you could change the color of the persistent dot. More high contrast options. Oh, presets. That's really nice. High contrast outlines. That's very cool. If I understand that correctly, like it only outlines the characters with high contrast instead of like making them entirely. That's really cool. Toggles, UI holds, menu holds. Oh, okay, that's cool. So like when you're upgrading gear, that's usually when you have to do that. Controls. Oh, you can disable the touchpad during combat. That's cool. That's cool. Controller remapping. I just realized that wasn't in the game or like in the initial notes. Oh no. Customize controls. Alternate layout, left, right, bias. And there we go. That's the end. So yeah, I wanted to talk about, like the last parts where essentially this is where I'm stumped. Basically, how do I describe this? The game is coming out and Insomniac knocked it out of the park with all the accessibility features. Like, I'm so excited to play this game, but at the same time, like, I literally have a review code of the game and I'm like, if I play it, like I'm sure I'll be able to play it because a lot of those accessibility features that will help me play are still there. But I guess basically what I'm trying to say is I could probably make it from like point A to point B and maybe from beginning to the end of the game. But why have that experience when I know TTS is coming and when I know audio descriptions is coming? So it puts me in this, and that's kind of the reason why I made this video. I'm like, it puts me in this weird spot. I'm like, do I even want to release a review or do I just want to wait till December? I have no idea. I'm waiting to figure that out. So any comments would be appreciated. I'm leaning towards just maybe doing a review and then like a short little video with the audio descriptions and TTS updates. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. So let me know what you guys think of that. But then the next thing I wanted to talk about, and I'll preface this by saying, like, I'm sure Insomniac has their reasons for doing this. But the fact that it's until December 20th, that's just I guess a long time, I would say, or longer than I would like. But again, like, I'm not trying to knock Insomniac at all. I'm just trying to say that it's disappointing, and it's going to stink. Okay, I thought I was getting called. It's going to stink that like other people are experiencing the game in its entirety while blind players won't be able to for 2 months. They'll still be able to play the game, but yeah. And so I don't know. It's the first time something like this has happened to this degree. And sorry, quick detail that I forgot to mention. Audio descriptions, apparently, does it say it here? Hold on. Oh, never mind. Okay. Well, anyway, the next thing is like I'm really curious as to how they decided which features they were going to greenlight and which ones they had to wait on. And I find that whole process, the whole development process, so fascinating and something I want to learn more about. Because it's easy to say like, oh, they just got lazy and they didn't prioritize accessibility, but they clearly did prioritize accessibility, right? It's it's so apparent that they did. But the part that makes me really wonder is like, and again, I'm not a developer, and so no one take this as me knowing what I'm talking about. This is all just my thoughts and speculating, but some of these things like seem really easy to add, and I know like that's the thing with development. Things seem really easy, but they're not often. But like, where was it? Where was it? Sorry, I'm gonna find it one sec. It was, yes. So like something like this, changing the color of the center dot. Like the dot is already gonna be in the game. Like that's confirmed coming to the game. And so I'm like, why? What? Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm really curious as to like, I would imagine, you kind of implement the easier ones and then kind of work on the hard ones to iron them out a bit more. And I could see that being the case for the TTS and audio descriptions. I can totally see that. As well as the closed captions, I could possibly see that. It's great that there's subtitles at the very, very least. But yeah, closed captions as well. I could see that being ironed out a bit more. But what I really find interesting is controller remapping, like just all of these remapping options. Again, I don't know how difficult they are to implement. I have no idea. But it's a little surprising, I will say, that is not in the game. Like I've seen a lot of games that don't focus on accessibility at all, but like that's still an option. Or I see a lot of games that do focus on accessibility, and like that's one of the first things they add. So yeah, and I'm not sure if like maybe some of this could be mitigated. I forget if PS5 has like button remapping at the operating system level, because if they do, then maybe you could work something out there. Maybe that's like a workaround until then. But yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, I would be lying if I said I wasn't bummed about the audio description and the text to speech, especially the text to speech. And I will say again, I'm sure Insomniac has their reasons. I know they focus on accessibility, and especially with screen readers, they are not easy to implement in games as of now. So I also understand that. And for those of you guys who are pissed at them, or I shouldn't say pissed, but just not happy with them for delaying that, audio descriptions and screen readers are, maybe less so audio descriptions. Or audio descriptions are still new, right? So like there's that, but then the screen readers are just difficult. So I'm absolutely like, I'm not bashing them at all. And like, nor am I saying like, oh, they should have delayed the game until December. It's just interesting. It was kind of just brain dump at the end of the day. But I think I'm going to stop rambling. There you have it. Let me know if you guys want me to do a review. I will. I also plan to drop my Mortal Kombat 1 review hopefully next week. It's already been out long enough. I need to, yeah. And then Forza 8 is coming out. I have not gotten a review code for that yet, but I do plan to stream that. So make sure you guys are tuned into my Twitch, twitch.tv/RossMiner. Early access for Forza goes live on October 5th, and I will be streaming that on the 5th. So be sure to tune into that. So there's gonna be a lot of accessibility reviews coming out, guys. It's a good day to be a disabled gamer. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about just all of this. I've never really made a video like this, so I just figured it would be kind of easy to make. And yeah, I got other stuff to do. I've talked a lot so far. This is gonna be a long video. Anyway, catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.